We have 4 divisions: Mercury, Navico Group, the boat division, which I lead, and then also business acceleration, which is new business models. Within the boat division, we have 18 brands.
18 brands.
18 brands, and with boats about 40 feet and under.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's too long to mention all the brands here, but...
Well, maybe some that you'd recognize would be Quicksilver, Bayliner, Sea Ray, Boston Whaler,
of course.
Navon, U-Turn. That would be a very popular brand in our market.
Very well known in Scandinavia.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. And what is the status now of the boating business? Because you have the markets in the US, you have the markets in Europe. You are the leading company in the world, actually, in this business.
Right. Well, I think we would all reflect that 2024 was a more challenging year. Following the spike that we all saw during the COVID period, a lot of demand was pulled forward. The industry in the US has been in a 4-year cyclical decline. And we know that there have also been challenges in Europe. That being said, I think there is a renewed energy as we head into 2025. A general feeling that we are closer to a recovery. And it's a matter of timing. But the boater, we do a lot of surveys, and the boating participation, whether that is in the US or Europe, remains. Interest in boating, desire to buy a boat, that still remains very high.
And what is the strategy for Brunswick in the years to come?
So a couple things. First of all, our inspiration and our objective is to have the best and leading products in the world. We are the authentic leader. We intend to create elevated and frictionless experiences, and we do that through human-centered design, product technology. We can talk about that. Advanced technology like boating intelligence, autonomy, to more intelligent systems. We have an example here with our Sea Ray 270 Surf. That will be the first surf boat produced in Europe and then sold and distributed in Europe. And creating, and through quality and service. So that is really the focus, to help strengthen the long-term viability of the industry and deliver frictionless experiences for the consumer.
Is the boating industry becoming more and more a tech industry, you think?
We believe so, and Brunswick is playing a lead role. Actually, earlier in the month, we were at the Consumer Electronics Show, and Brunswick had a very large presence there, and we go to CES in Las Vegas to really elevate the marine industry as being a leader in technology. Our goal is to make boating appear easy and make it easy for the consumer. But what happens under the hull, between the prop to the helm, there's a lot of advanced technology. We have our ACES strategy, which is autonomy, connectivity, electrification, and shared business models. And so we intend to continue to lead the way in technology and marine.
Yeah, I saw at the Saxtor stand that Mercury and Navico had a cooperation with Saxtor on the apps.
That's correct. Yeah, we have, so our 18 boat brands, but we are just one customer for Mercury and Navico Group. Mercury has a leading presence in the industry. I do think one advantage that we have for the industry overall, because of Brunswick's portfolio, when we design new products, we can do that in very close coordination. Mercury, Navico Group, and then Boat Group. So if we take autonomy, for example, which we will have an autonomous docking system fully integrated in the second half of 2026, that is going to be a product that could be sold to other OE boat builders.
And that is for boats with outboard engines as well?
It would be boats with outboard engines, is where we're starting with the 405 Boston Whaler Conquest.
Wow. Interesting. And which products do you think are the most interesting new products from Brunswick this year?
Well, interesting for us is both, we clearly believe they're going to be successful in the market and they're going to meet a consumer need. One of the products I'm really excited about is our Sea Ray 270 Surf.
Yeah.
So this is built off of the Sea Ray SDX platform. You can have an outboard and inboard, but we see more interest in multi-use products. So instead of, surf has become very popular, we think there's opportunity in Europe. It's an opportunity to bridge the gap between generations, where you can have the feel of a day boat inboard experience, but then you have the grandkids on board and you have that very exciting surf experience. With the partnership with Simrad, we have a next wave surf system. So going back to technology, you can get a novice driver can get a surfer up within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So very exciting.
And this boat produce waves, doesn't it? So you can
that's right.
do wakeboarding on the waves.
You can do wakeboarding on the, that's what we call the wake surf, but wakeboarding on the surf,
That sounds fun. I would like to try that once. As you said, the boating industry has had some difficult years, or at least the 2 last years has been down from the peak during the pandemic.
Yes.
What do you think are the main challenges for the boating industry ahead of us?
Well, I think that the consumer has been more under pressure economically, but yet we see positive signs. Savings account, people who are growing in wealth. So I think it really depends on confidence. And I think the consumer maybe last year might have been feeling a bit more anxious. One of the terms that have been used, at least over the past couple of days here, is that there are more serious buyers, but they're also a bit more relaxed. There's good energy, whether there's just more optimism of stability, and that looks different by market, or people want to live and they're tired of waiting. I think there's a general sense that it's a matter of timing, but that the consumer will start to be more confident. I think it's what we think about, though. There are those things that we can't control. The things that we can control, it's product development, it's experience, it's our service models, and that's where we've been very focused.
And you mentioned that you had been working with the Freedom Boat Club. Is the boating or the boat owning or the concept of boating changing from boat owning to boat renting or boat sharing?
I think it is not changing, it is really augmenting the industry. As I mentioned, Brunswick purchased Freedom Boat Club in 2019. We had there was 20,000 members at the time, primarily in the US, and 170 locations. We now have over 70,000 memberships globally, 400 locations. 90% of the members who joined Freedom said they never intended to buy a boat. So any industry needs to be very focused with your long-term health and viability, and that requires getting people on the water. What we found in Freedom is that once people start participating, they love boating, and then they want to buy a boat. So we believe, and that's why our strategy, technology with ACE, and then the S stands for shared. We believe that smart technology and smart services and experiences need to live together so that we can elevate and sustain the success of the industry in the future.
And I think young people also are less inclined maybe to own a lot of things. They want more to be free to choose.
That's right. But we also see that as being life stage, right? So there's a lot in the industry, and depending on, it's less about, it is, demographics play in. But once you have your house and you're married and you're thinking about what you can do with your family, you might shift your perspective on sharing to owning. So we need to be wherever the consumer wants to participate.
Is there a difference, or what is the difference between the US market and the European market?
Well, I think the European market is much more nuanced, and this is my second year at Dusseldorf. I spend a lot of time here listening. There are some markets where we're seeing maybe more some bright spots. There are other markets that I think they're looking for a bit more stability. And so I think the answer depends, one, on the market. The second is how people use their boats can be very distinct. That's another one that we're learning. I know here trailering boats become very important. Things like access to water through marinas or having access to berths, that can be a constraint. So it's really important to listen, because that really influences for us our product strategy, our portfolio strategy, and how we adapt in each market to win.
Yeah. And in Europe, sailing is quite big, but you are not into sailing, are you?
We are not, no.
It's all about power.
It's about power.
Yeah.
Now, with Navico Group, there's a close partnership. There's technology,
B&G,
you got it, and Simrad, that they do participate in the sailing industry.
Yeah, that's true. And you build a lot of boats in Europe.
We do.
Yeah.
So we have 13 manufacturing facilities across the globe. In Europe, we have 2. In Poland and also Portugal. And I think that is very important so that we can deliver on the value proposition. Actually, the 270 Sea Ray Surf, it will be the first surf boat that is both built in Europe and distributed. And that's going to provide a cost advantage for the consumer. So I think it's very important that we have a diversified manufacturing footprint.
Yeah, and also then you're not so vulnerable for the exchange rate.
That's correct. Currency or tariffs, or it gives us, that's right. Navan, as an example, will be manufactured both in Poland and in the US.
I'm not going to take you into politics, but today is a big day with the new president in the States. And in Europe, people worry about custom rates going up, or will there be a trade war, or do you think that that this will make business more complicated?
Well, I think what's important is in the markets in generally, and in the consumer mind, it is stability. And I think it will be good with any administration who brings confidence and stability. We have had a similar, the Trump administration before. So I think the industry knows how to navigate, and we're certainly also all hoping for the best conditions for trade to work globally. But stability will be very important.
Yeah, and you have your production facilities in Europe anyway,
yes.
Yeah, that's taken care of. And personally, do you go boating?
I do.
Yeah.
So we'll soon be a 3rd generation Boston Whaler owner. So we take on big water. We love the stability, the safety, everything about the iconic brand of Boston Whaler. Most importantly, getting the family on the water. I always say everyone who walks through this building has a dream on the water. And as we're getting ready this summer for to take delivery of our boat, I'm already imagining where we're going to go, who we're going to be with. And that's what the industry has to deliver on that inspiration.
Yeah, and then you go boating in the lakes?
And we go boating in Lake Michigan. We'll go through Chicago, through the city, a lot of day boating. My next goal is to take longer trips. So every year you try to push yourself a little bit more with mastery, and I find that very satisfying. Being newer to boating, really starting boating about 7 years ago, every year you learn something and then you love it more and more.
Yeah, you always have new places to go and
Yes.
new experiences.
And really, for me now with technology, like we have joystick docking with Mercury engines, and it just makes boating much more accessible, especially as you get into some of the larger vessels.
So you sort of, the level of entry is getting lower.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. It's interesting. Good luck with this really interesting and challenging job you have.
Thank you, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.